Ah, bakit wala ka pang girlfriend?
Hindi ko alam. What's
Walang
wrong?
walang jowa. Oh my God.
Ako pangit.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. This is Rochelle Rosenberg, and here we are again back to this exposure episodes. From the last time, we actually had an interview with Zaito. His name is Zaito, and he is a popular rapper artist in Philippines. But this time, we're gonna go to the UK, and here we got to interview this man. I'm a little bit not confused, curious. Let's correct my English. I'm a little bit curious about who this guy is. So maybe it's good for you to hang around with us, and we're gonna have a little bit of surprise conversations with you. I don't know what my question is, but we're gonna get on to this topic. So for this time, this guy beside me, his name is Paul McKenna, and shout out to the girls out there. He's very single, right, and looking hotty, and he's living in Scotland, all right, let's say the word like that, and he's got a little bit of hobbies, singing and martial arts, and who knows, he can sing while he can do the martial arts. Wow, right. So without further ado, let's meet our guy, right? And it's everybody's guy for now because he's single. All right. So, welcome to you, Sir Paul.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. It's nice to see you.
Right. It's nice to see you too. And for the meantime, I would like to welcome you guys with my intro. Right. So now I want to understand who you are, what you are, and where you are. All right. But let's see. So, can you please introduce us who you are first?
Yep. Okay, Rochelle, and to your viewers, my name is Paul McKenna, uh, otherwise known as the carpet cleaning guy on
Right. All right. So, your name is Paul McKenna. And
yeah.
personally, I think when I hear your name, it sounds like a wrestling guy's name. Welcome to the world of wrestling with Paul McKenna. I don't know why I do those kind of things, but hey, that's kind of cool. Anyway, and I want to know or a little bit of understand. Can you please introduce us your background, where you grew up, where you come from?
Yes, I was born in Scotland, which is in the United Kingdom, which is north in the United Kingdom, and south is England. So I am Scottish, and that was 57 years ago.
7 years ago.
57 years ago.
57. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know 57 years old. I just heard seven. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you for the compliment.
That's a compliment, eh? 57 years old, yeah. So, and I could see that you have five siblings, right?
Yes. I have four sisters and one brother.
Right. And I could see that you have one daughter. She's almost the same age like me.
Yes, she is 33 years old.
Right. So you live in the same area.
We stay quite close, so we see each other quite regular.
All right. Okay. So wouldn't you mind, if I may ask, when was the time you had started to make flirting with women or you get married?
Uh,
All right.
I'm trying to think. So, can you ask that question again, Rochelle?
When was the time you started to get married?
I have never been married.
Okay, so you just flirted. Let's say.
Well, no, not really, because the woman we stayed together for 11 years as if we were married, but we didn't get married.
All right, so you didn't get married, right? And she's the mother, of course, of your daughter,
Yes,
right? So how was I also saw from your biography that you are a Christian.
yes, that's correct. Yes.
So how is did you grow up with your belief, or do you have, what is the background and how you became a how you did you became a Christian? When
Well,
you look at
yeah,
your family background.
yeah. Well, like most people in the West, we have some kind of church background. Uh, and for myself, just like in the Philippines, I was brought up in the Roman Catholic tradition. Uh, so during school time, we would have prayer time, uh, religious education, go to church on Sunday, just like any other family. But when I reached the age of, I think,
Yeah.
14, 15, I said to my parents, you send me to the church. I says, why don't you go? And my mother said, we don't believe.
So they just sent you there.
Yeah, because it was the right thing to do. But
You became like their frontliner.
yeah,
It was really good, huh? Yeah, that's kind of good frontline for a child to do.
yeah. But it made me rethink again. If my parents don't believe, why do I believe? And then I
Mhm.
stopped believing, or my faith is almost as small as a mustard seed.
Right. So, in your since you have been sent to the church by your parents, how was your upbringing as as a as a little Paul by those times?
Uh,
Were how was their parenthood for towards you?
my mother was a beautiful woman. I don't just mean to in looks, but a beautiful person,
Yeah.
full of compassion, a good example. I never once heard her swear or not a drinker, not a smoker, just a very good living, good example of a woman. Uh, my father, he was the opposite. He was a gambler, womanizer, drinker. and not very nice person.
Right, right. And your father as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's my father. Yeah,
Right. And you have grown up actually in the Western world, and since you are now in your 50s, around going next to the 60s,
yeah.
um, what were the differences of your time before to now when it comes to parenting? Is there something that you recognize, or is there something that you think should have been carried up to this day?
I think the main difference in parenting, being a parent in the 1960s, 1970s, is different from now, mainly because of discipline, and because at school we used to get the belt, and
Yeah,
just the way a belt is described is like a leather belt with
yeah,
thongs, and then they would
mm,
hit you on the hand.
yeah.
And my father used to hit me on the side of the head, which was very painful.
Can understand. Yeah, yeah. I also experienced the belt and a paddle,
Ah,
a
ah,
belt and a paddle. Oh my
wow.
goodness! And a
You,
bamboo stick is as a bonus.
you are too young to remember.
Yeah, but the bonus is the bamboo stick. That's the softest one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a stretchable, but it's really hurting.
wow.
Right. So whenever you look back, and now you are 57, if you look back, what were the things that you wish you could advise to yourself?
Uh, that's a good question. Uh, I think possibly to be careful who your friends are, who you associate with, because I remember if I associated with the wrong people, I then imitate their behavior and go in the wrong direction.
Yeah. So when it comes to those kinds of friendship, and you were already a little bit young in your faith at those times, in your younger times, um, could you have a use of your faith?
Uh, that's another good question.
I
I
have
think,
always a good question, eh?
yeah, you haven't given me a bad question so far. So I think because upbringing was in the church and the teachings of Jesus was teaching us forgiveness, turn the other cheek. So I think to some extent the teaching of Jesus would have helped me uh, a great deal to cope with life, maybe.
Mm, right. Um, has it ever been in your life you experienced like stress before in your teenage years?
Yes, many times. I was what's the word? I was painfully shy, especially concerning women with girls. I would
Mm-hmm.
be very shy, uh, and I think that would make me stressed because I wasn't a very confident young person. I would find it difficult to look someone in the eye. I would always look down.
Yeah, yeah. So you were kind of you have a low self-esteem when you were a teenager. Was that
Yes, that's a good description. Yeah.
right? And how did you cope with that?
Not very well. I became addicted to alcohol. when I was 16, 17, uh, and then became smoker.
Right.
And I this involved losing employment because if you're alcoholic, you can only last so long in one
Right.
job before they say that's it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And have did it took you a long time of years before you could recover from that?
Uh, yes, I was 35 years old by the time I had a, how can I say, experience that changed my whole life.
Right. So how I mean, when you met your first your the mother of your child,
Yeah, yeah.
was those kind of addictions still at present?
Yes, in fact, because if you are in addiction, normally you seek someone else who shares that same addiction with you. So if you're a
Mhm.
drinker, you will go to associate as a drinker, or if you're into drugs. I was never into drugs, but if I was,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
tend to belong to the same group.
Yeah, it's good for us to understand, and even for our viewers, that once, just like what with your with that just a small amount of your story, um there was just a small low self-esteem problem as a teenage, and then it escalated into a higher amount of addiction,
Yeah.
which supposedly can be stopped actually by parents. And did they say anything about it? Have they tried to help you, or have you even tried to receive their help?
My parents are now passed on a
Yeah,
long time ago, but at the time, it's difficult for parents of someone who is in addiction because the person in addiction is in denial. They say, I don't have a problem.
yeah.
So that's difficult, very difficult for the parents.
It was difficult for them to help you.
They tried, but in an addiction, you become selfish
Mhm.
and you deny, I don't have a problem. But obviously, you do.
All right. It's very important for the viewers to understand that if you have these kinds of family in your surrounding, like Paul says here, our guest says that that he was in denial at those times, and people who are actually in that kind of state actually needs another kind of help rather than questioning, I think, the problem. But when we think about these times, and since you said that that your addiction was present at the time you met the mother of your child, has it ever been um, has it ever escalated to a situation where it was present when you have a child?
Uh, yes, but when I when my daughter was born, it made me more reflective and to take on a little bit more responsibility for my actions. But I was still in addiction.
Right. So you took a step out of it. You took a step out of it.
Mm, hard to define. Maybe I was more thoughtful before I was involved in wrong things. I would maybe stop and think, I have a daughter, I have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm. So she became like an instrument for you to be aware, at least, of the responsibilities that you have.
Yes, I suppose that's a good way of putting it. Yes,
All right, that's really profound, because because her life became like an
but
instrument.
uh, but still, there is the heart of addiction still existing, even though you may clean up your act just a little bit, but the
Yeah.
addiction still, it's not gone.
No, no. But how did you get out of that kind of situation?
That is, it was one experience I had, and I think you would need more than this time to explain because I had, how do I say this? I had a spiritual experience, uh, or if you like, a meeting with God that changed my whole life.
Right. If you would describe it in a short,
Yes,
short word,
yes.
what were the first step that you did to get out of the addiction?
Uh, to be honest with you, the first step I took to get out of addiction was nothing. I did nothing. I know that sounds crazy, but I did absolutely nothing. But uh, I'll explain briefly. I was in a it was a hot summer's day in 1998, and I
Yeah.
was in the park, the local park, with my partner at that time,
Right.
and I had hangover, so dehydrating, uh, sore head, feeling nauseous, not feeling good, and then I
Mm-hmm.
tried to go to sleep on the grass, but I keep having these thoughts, these stressful, anxiety filled thoughts. Why am I here? Why do I exist? What's the point of life? Uh, like philosophical questions running through my mind.
Right. Right.
And then uh, I was aware of, how can I say, I was aware of a presence, something close to me. And then uh, I was aware of a voice, and this voice spoke to me. It was not like an audible voice that you would hear through a
Yeah.
microphone. It was
Right.
in here, like
Yeah.
the voice said, "You have been trying to work out the reasons for your existence for the past 20 minutes or so." And I said, "Yes, I don't understand why. Why is this life here? Why?" The voice then said, "Let me take you here." And then I had how I would explain it, as a vision,
Yeah. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
lying beside a tree. And because when I was asleep just now, I was lying asleep beside a tree. And this
Mm.
voice said, "Here is another tree.
Right.
And this tree is a fossilized tree. It's 350 million years old. And in the city where I live, there is a thing called the fossil grove. It's
Mm-hmm.
trees that are prehistoric that have turned to stone." The voice said, "This tree is 350 million years old. Now, if you sat down beside this tree uh, 350 million years ago to the present day, would you still have an answer for your existence and for your reason for this life?" And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "No, I wouldn't know even if I had that time to ponder." Then the
Right.
voice said, "Be still and know that I am God."
Wow.
And I had never heard those words before.
Hmm. That was really powerful.
Uh, when I hear those words, I feel an incredible peace. Like uh, it's difficult, but years later, when I picked up a Bible, someone read, "With a joy unspeakable, with a love inexpressible."
Right.
That explained what I'm trying to explain. Sometimes you can't use words to explain
Mhm.
that experience.
Right. So when you had this was the start of the radical change in your life. So
Yes,
how how was the feeling? Because I believe once you did when this radical change came to you, you lose friends. So how was the surrounding around you? What happened?
Uh, yeah, but briefly, just one other thing. There was another scripture that said, "I leave you peace, the peace that transcends all human understanding." So that's the kind of feeling or peace I had. So I lost many friends, but then again, I had to ask myself, were they really friends to begin with?
Yeah.
I lost. People thought I was going crazy because I wanted to stop drinking, stop smoking. I didn't want to live in sin, and they think this guy's nuts.
You're not on your mind.
Yes, but he's gone
Yeah.
low.
I remember when I was a little bit in that kind of situation, due to some problems that I faced before.
Sure.
Someone said to me, "You are out of your mind." And my answer was, "Of course, not in your mind." So they think that, oh, that's the proof you are crazy now. That's the proof. That was enough.
I'll have to remember that. That's a good one, Rochelle.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that was really a very touching story about the testimony of how of the radical change, and when you uh, when you think back from now, how long has it been since you become or since you've been living this kind of faith? How long has it been?
Well, that was May of 1998, so that would be 22 years ago.
Right. 22. Oh my goodness. I was still 12 years old. I was still holding a lollipop.
You were just a baby.
Right. I'm still a baby then. But
Of course,
um
of course.
so how was when you did this radical change? We're gonna jump into the other aspect of your life, right? How did you manage to live every day with the faith in your mind? How did you manage by changing it with the child and so on, with the new surrounding? Did you had some strategy that maybe you can share with our viewers?
Uh, Very briefly, I think I took myself away from those people who were bad for my, how do I say, they were not good for me. You know, I would just go back into that lifestyle. So I had to cut from certain people, certain situations, leave, and then I live on my own. I got my own flat, started my own business, uh, and then went to church, learned about the Bible, learned how to a Christian should live, to help others, help yourself, etc. So without alcohol or any of these things was for me just amazing, but not the only thing, because I had to learn how to budget money, pay my
Right.
rent, pay taxes, blah blah blah, and that was a big that took me a big learning curve.
Wow. You become responsible.
Yes, yes, for the first time.
Right. For the first time.
Yes,
that was that sounds funny to me because like I because from the background I come from, like, you have to learn to be responsible while you are very little. And to hear that from you, it sounds funny, but it's very serious. You know what I mean?
yes, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Because people in addiction just think of number one. They just think me, me, me.
Alam ko na kung
So,
mapagmamagsan.
and since now we're gonna go to the 30 minutes, maybe you need to drink something or so. So we're just gonna have a little bit of pause.
Sure.
Just some 2 minutes or so. Or 1 minute, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Pero ako ay tao lang. Nalilito, nagtatanong, nagtataka kung bakit kahit tanim ko ay maganda, bumabalik kay pangit habang ako ay nag-aabot sa amin ay nagkakait. Pero kito ako lumalaban kahit pa masakit. Sabi nila inaangat mo ang binababa, pero bakit buhay pa rin kung sino ang masasama? Nauuna mga mahalaga at mabubuti, ako ay gabayan mo sa mundong to bilang baluti dahil ikaw lamang ang nakakaalam. Tawad ka ay masarap kung tamang pumunta, hindi ako maliligo dahil sa nandiyan ka. Nang dapat na mapunta, kahit na merong pasan, hindi pa rin nalalayuan. Boy, Patnubay, Boy, Patnubay. Sa mga panahong di iniisip ang ginagawa, ang sarili lamang ang hangad na madakma, at ang pinakawala ng iba kasasaklap sa lahat. Handa ko itapon ang kahit ano para sa hinahangad na kapangyarihan, impluensya at katanyagan. Teknolohiya ang may dulot ng gantong kasakiman, nakakabuti. Oo, pero lulong na rin ang tao, nilikha mo ang kaalaman. Ako akong mabuso, aminado, uhaw kasing mapuri ng iba. Sa kakabago yung sarili ko hindi nakilala, sabay sa kung ano ang sukatan ng pangkalahatan, para maramdamang parte ka ng mundong inaapakan. Ganto ba? Di ba sabi mo pantayan nilikha mo? Ganto ba? Basta kulay lang pinapatayan tao para sa ng pag-ulad. Kung ito'y kasasama mo, hindi yata dapat mundo ang magbago. Dapat tayo pero ikaw lamang ang nakakaalam. Tawad ka ay masarap kung tamang pumunta, hindi ako maliligo dahil sa nandiyan ka. Nang dapat na mapunta, kahit naliligaw di mo iniwanan, ikaw ang dahilan. Kahit na merong pasan, hindi pa rin nalalayuan. Malilinaw, paligo, patuloy lamang nalalapit sa'yo. Boy, Patnubay, patuloy lamang nalalapit sa'yo. Boy, Patnubay. Sa dami ng mga nangyayari sa mundo sa panahon ito, sa halong-halong kaguluhan, krisis, lito at pasakit na pinapasa natin isang kasama, hindi lamang bilang isang bansa, pero bilang isang buong mundo. Ngayon ang panahon na kahit iba-iba ang ating salita, iba-iba ang ating pagkaintindi ng buhay, iba-iba ang estilo, paniniwala, relihiyon, kulay, lahi, uri ng buhay, mayaman, mahirap. Ngayon ang pinaka-importanteng panahon para sa pagbuklod-buklod, hindi para sa pera, hindi para sa giyera, hindi para sa kasigatan, pag-angat, pagiging kilala. Ito ang panahon. Ito ang panahon. Ito ang panahon ng pagiging isa.
Ruben Beats.